Alright, welcome back everybody. Once again, it has been a little bit, although I don't think quite as long as last time. But we're back at it again, and boy have I been busy. I thought I was busy last time. I'm gonna have to take a whole nother chunk of video to explain what I've gotten done. Speaking of which, I don't know, you may hear a little bit of background noise. That's a bunch of air conditioning stuff running because it's pretty hot here. So apologies for that, but I don't think it's too bad, so it shouldn't keep us from doing this. Anyways, I have done a lot since we left. In fact, let me pull this up real quick. I think it was the 23rd, yeah. So this is where we left off, and apparently we just finished building lightning rods, and repairing the pickaxe and tying up a couple other ends. So, what have I done since then? Well, basically construction. We've worked in the jungle sector. I'll show you what I mean by that in a little bit. We did that for a while. And then where the birch tree farm is, we added some housing too. You know, I think I'll just start showing you. Yeah, I think instead of sitting here and trying to spell it all out, I'll just go through and start showing, because I know about where we left off. So, I guess I better show this. I'm gonna turn around and show this. This is only one part, and I think I will. Oh, what do you know? We finally got someone sleeping up here. What I was trying to say is that audio glitch. Anyways, we finally built this second part that connects to the lighthouse here, and it's crazy. But I'm not gonna get too in depth in that right now because I want to save that for later. But that's just to go, show how good our progress has been. So, let's see. Last time I had this map, we had gone through this jungle region right here and started to go into this corner, this, what is it? It is the northwest corner of the city, way over here, past the storage facility and whatnot. We had, like, deforested it a bit and put a path, and I think maybe even built one of the guest houses for a player. But that was basically it. We made the path and the bridges, but now that is superstructure wise, that is all finished. Basically, long story short, the whole village overall is done. So we got all this crazy stuff going overhead, and I'm really happy with it. But I'll explain that later. We're gonna focus on what's right here first. So it seems to be pretty booming back here. Part of the reason I didn't video myself doing this is the process for figuring out what and where I wanted to build stuff was just too long and convoluted and involved. It took several hours of several days to get all this done, and a lot of that time just went into brainstorming and thinking up ideas and whatnot, and there was a lot of time where in-game and out-game where I kind of just didn't do anything because I was so busy trying to think about where to go with it. And that just wouldn't have been much for a video in my opinion. So as much as I like to do everything on screen and whatnot, it just seemed more practical to and enjoyable to get it done and then show you the result. So back here, as you can see, that's the guest house. I think you guys seen that before. Then we've got a bunch of kind of interesting houses that are the old style village houses, but if they were built for the jungle region, because these never existed with the jungle palette involved. So and as you can see, they're pretty bare bones. There should probably be 2 beds in this one, but I just wanted to crank this out. So a lot of the houses are plain, which that'll be another subject for later in the video. But you got all these old small houses and huts, and I even threw a library back there, which it looks like we may have someone working here, which is great. Yes, we do. That's awesome. It's taken the villagers a while to move in, and they haven't even really begun to move in up here in that region. But at least we got people like this working here, so we got the old school style, which I'm actually kind of happy I did, because I don't know, maybe I missed it a little, or it's just nice to see it. But we didn't completely do that and nothing but that. We tried some weirdo designs that I just came up with on the spot. I didn't know what to do with the bottom, so for simplicity's sake, and because we didn't really have any butchers over here, I just made it all a bunch of butcher workstations. And then the top is where they sleep. So it's just a little fun, simple, actually pretty simple design, although it's kind of spendy with all the logs and the planks and the bricks especially. But we built all that, and we built some more of them over here. Just a single farm, and all these fisherman barrels. We've got plenty of fishermen over here. We are gonna have so many villagers to get trading with in the future. So, as a bit of a side note, all these storage units, facilities, I should say, a lot of the entrances you'll see over here, I put fence gates up because it wasn't a problem before. But now that the village has gotten this big, the villagers have just occasionally wandered up into these, trying to pathfind somewhere, because, you know, their pathfinding is rusty. It needs some more work. So they'd get stuck up here, and they'd like just come here thinking they could get somewhere they obviously couldn't, and they'd just stop, and then they'd go back and forth. And they'd just be stuck here forever. Not to mention, kind of hard to use the facility without knocking them in this pool and trapping them when they're in the way. So, we gated everything we needed to. I put a couple trapdoor or pressure plates so that it, at least exiting, it's really nice. Anyways, I wanted to experiment with some mud bricks and birch wood, because I haven't really built many houses out of this stuff, and this brick stuff just got added, like, what was it? That was a wild update. I don't remember how long ago that was, but I haven't used any of this yet. So I made it by making clay, and I used that with the water bottle strategy, because we definitely do not have a infinite amount of clay here. So I built that house, and I put a little bell here for a meeting point. I think I've even got a name for it, the lonely bell, the lonely meeting place, because it's a really small neighborhood here. And then we went really funny with that one was just fit it to the space custom, but we tried to do an old school design, but change it up with how we constructed it on this one. So we used mud bricks. Kind of squishy sounding. Now this was very interesting. So this is a desert, So perfectionist me would have preferred to make this out of sandstone, but we don't have enough sand to do that without destroying the natural look of the place. So next best alternative I decided on was to just use oak wood, because it's still kind of desert slash westerny feeling, and we don't really have anywhere in the village that we've designated as sort of like a, we're using oak wood here. So I decided to do it here. And again, some of these buildings are custom. Some of these buildings are actually the old design with a few modifications, like this old school blacksmith, and thankfully the lava does not catch the structure on fire like it used to. We've got a station for a toolsmith back there. This is a newer design of library that fits the area nicely. And then we did some weirdo custom designs like this Fletcher shop, which is long and skinny. These are actually some of the more decorated places, even though they could still have some work done. Like, this is a custom cartographer's place. I just kind of like the way it is, the way it turned out. Nice and simple, but spacey and cute. And then this just really simple. All the tanner needs is a roof and some wet places to do stuff. So we also added this little, we needed to fill this void, so we added this just a little sit down and chillax during the day or the night. The village folk can, or whoever. So there's that. Again, newer designs for buildings. Newer design for a farm. That's an old school butcher shop over here with, again, just a couple new blocks. The old style. Just put the smoker here, that's about it. Oh, and we used coarse dirt so it would stay dirt and not turn to grass. I almost wonder if I built this right. It seems small for some reason. And again, this took a while to populate, but now it seems like its own little thriving community. This is a cool little balcony. We'll get to that in a minute. And because this is like partially desert and savanna-ized, this sort of blended this in with just a couple savanna-style structures, like this wee little house up here. It just fits back here, and it's got this tiny little space you could, like, be a great hiding spot for hide and seek. But it's that, and then a nice little farm, custom sheep pen, and this is a stonemason shop. And then this is where it gets kind of interesting. I wonder if I should put some dirt back there. So I seen this hill and I figured, what am I going to do with it? Well, one of the things I knew I wanted to do was to build a guest house in the very top for more players to stay in. So that's what the very top is, and I'll show you that in a minute. But then I was wondering if the hill would be big enough to put a bunch of like multi-level villager housing in it. And I did put some housing, but it turned out the hill was, especially with the player residence up there, is just not quite big enough for as fancy as I wanted to get. So I just built a kind of plain, simple, really basic housing in here. Nothing even architecturally fancy, but fine enough. So you can fit at least a couple more villagers in here. And these are the stairs to the guest house. I really like this one. It's only like the third one I built. I guess technically the second, but this is what it opens up into. Nice little. The idea for this is you could easily have one player in here. It's bigger than some of the other guest houses, but it's built big enough so you could potentially have two. So like a little bit of a dual house. You got a really great view in this direction. Potted plant right there. And a really fantastic view, especially if you step out here. It was different before I added all this, so this is the first time I'm seeing it this way, and it's kind of interesting, but I still think it's a really great view, and the sunset, of course, is gorgeous. Although it's looking kind of funky now because I don't know why. It seems like the game's having a brain fart with the weather or something, and it just likes to rain and rain and rain and rain here. More than it's ever rained as far as I remembered. And then it messes up the sky and makes it look weird, but it's something. Anyways, it looks like we've got a couple people looking at things up there, but we'll get to that. We're not quite there yet. Anyways, nice little place up here. A little bit of extra storage for space in this area, but that's about it. I really just kind of went with some imagination, inspiration, and then freestyled it. I really like how it turned out, and I hope whoever potentially lives there will take a fancy to it as well. Speaking of guest houses, the other one is another one. The final one, actually, is not far. It's just through this hole. You come out to this little bridge that I built. And this is kind of a funky looking one. It's another birchwood style. I decided, because of variety reasons and who I figured might want to live here, to kind of include less windows and just build it squat. I was actually kind of thinking to build it a bit like a storage container, those big metal shipping crates that you see on ships or trucks or trains. And I didn't end up exactly going with that design specifically, but that's kind of what it's built off of. Just really simple, big inside look. It's got an upstairs in the roof. Again, pretty simple designs. I have a little bit of detail to them, but I leave it so that whoever takes the place can do what they want with it. But just enough few things to make it unique. And then, of course, it's got a downstairs. And all these places have maps. As you can see, this shows all the places that have the same map in the village. And the one that's kind of the outlier, funny enough, is that fancy brick one that I built first. It's practically on the other side of the map, but that's just how it turned out. So, that's this place. And there are villagers everywhere. Some of them are kind of stuck or seem to be stuck, like that dude. And then there's some people even stuck up there from before I blocked the storage facilities off with the gates. But I did all this, and now we're getting into what was a bit more recent. Although this was still not that long ago. It was like in the last month. It just took such a long time. Farm here. A panda, local resident. And then we got this section that we had pathed out for a long time, even before we did anything back in this region. We finally put some stuff here. And I just kind of went with a funky, deep jungle feeling, minus the above stuff that wasn't here before, but I think it still kind of adds to it in a weird way. So, we went with a kind of a bolder style in these houses, and really, like everything, they're incomplete. They need decor, and I was thinking I would make some of these out of, or with moss stone, and I just didn't end up doing it at the time. So some of them are stone, and some of them are wood. Then you got an old school well that sort of melds into this pool here. It's just naturally formed with a small pool here and a slightly bigger one here, or maybe it's the other way around. No, it's the other way around. But I just decided, hey, instead of deleting them both, let's just make a really funky combo. So this happened. We got some Fletcher stuff over here. I just have a kind of an interesting story for this space. Got a tanner there. I just figured, of course, obviously, a villager can sleep here, and there was at one point. But I figured this is kind of on a specific sort of butt end of the village all by itself, kind of in a dark corner. And it's kind of dark inside. Kind of an odd design. I just figured there'd be some person, whether it's a witchy person or something else, just kind of doing strange stuff. Maybe weirdo experiments in here. No one really knows for sure, but they're kind of a recluse and they keep to themselves doing weird things. So just a potential storytelling idea behind that. But back this way, more housing, and then we got this funky square library. I just did it this way because it's really tight, but I just got character. And speaking of character, I was just like, you know what, stone cutter, stone mason, there we go. It's fine, it's okay, I'm okay with it. Some things can be simple. I was starting to really want to get this done and not get too crazy, but I did try some new stuff, even if it was simple. So then we go to this stuff, which is going to be awesome, but the only way to access it is the way I originally planned with this, and boy, when I finally got ready to do this stuff, I was excited, and I actually really enjoyed it. After getting done with all this stuff, I mean, I enjoyed the previous stuff, but it was also a bit laborsome for multiple reasons, including, like, this is really weird and cool that I've never done before, building from treetop to treetop, but it's also the last big place to build before the village overall is close enough I could say it's complete. So we've come up here. I might put something in this area at some point, but for now it's just kind of a empty, open viewing space. It's got not a bad view. It's actually pretty nice. This turned out a bit different than I was thinking. I was thinking at some point it might sort of encircle the church in the air, and it could, but I think it's fine, and I like it how it turned out. So the houses for this kind of turned out weird, and I'm still not sure if the villagers are completely fine with this design. There was actually a nitwit, wouldn't you know, up here before anyone else. But I would have made the floor out of, you know, something more materially like planks or stone. But I tried that here. This was like one of the first ones I came to. And the second I tried to break the leaves, the whole tree just started decaying for whatever reason. So I put a floor in here, but I didn't do that anywhere else. So the leaves may look kind of weird, but hopefully they also add character, I guess. This took a lot of jungle wood. In fact, this used all my jungle wood reserves and more. It took a lot. And judging by the looks of it, there's not really anyone living up here per se at the moment. There's a guy exploring, I guess, but I just basically selected some trees that were tall and up in the air and branched my way to them. And I actually had to raise the roof a little bit because technically this is tall enough, and that's another problem. You can't place stuff on this leaves. I'll just punch a block and use it temporarily. Technically this is tall enough that you can get in on the bed, although you're right at the limit of your headroom. But before that, it was down at this level instead of up here. And one villager tried to go to sleep and then woke up and he was stuck in the bed because he couldn't move out. So, can't have that. So, I made the roof a bit taller, but I had to put these beds on a platform because can't place them on the leaves. Can't place doors on the leaves either, and if I break a leaf, the whole thing starts decaying, so that's just how that turned out. Not quite what I was thinking, and not necessarily ideal, but I work around it, and again, perhaps it adds character enough that it's okay. So most of these houses can, they could potentially house 3 villagers actually, but I've just got them as a 2-bed setup for now. So there's like 2 sections, well 3. There's like a little village section over there in the air, a village section over here in the air, and then some farmland in between the big bridge that connects them. And both of these 2 places have a bunch of housing, and then one building which acts as both the meeting place and, unless they're a farmer, their workstations. And if they are a farmer, there are 6 farms out here with a place to do their job. And I put a water source block in the middle of these, of course, underneath the composter. And I was going to cover it up on the bottom so it didn't just drain straight down. But then I took a look at what it was doing and how it looked like, and the fact it was mostly going to be over water anyways, and I thought, you know what, this could be a cool idea. So I left it. I had to redirect a little of the water, but for the most part it kind of directed itself, and I'd say it looks more than acceptable, even cool. So walk over here. He's used a bit of dark oak too with these fence rope thingies, but not near as much as the jungle. More housing. This is the job / meeting place. Excluding the farmer, we've basically got one of each profession, except for a few professions that were excluded, like I think I excluded like a shepherd and a couple others. These are where most of the houses are for this area. So a lot of these are just a single, although again they could be like potentially 2 at least. So single, and then this is a single as well. So this is kind of like a smaller area, and it's above the jungle sector with the guest house back here. So I tried to design it so I and the villagers and I won't easily fall off. It was kind of a little bit of a trick building, stairs like this, especially without railing at first. I could have very easily fallen off, and I nearly did a couple of times, but we got it done, and for as simple as it looks, I'm happy with it and I like it. But of course I'd like to decorate everything and whatnot, which is what we're going to talk about in a second. By the way, when the sun rises, this place has a killer view. I mean, if you imagine sleeping in one of these beds and looking out at the sunrise, that's just gorgeous. But anyways, is there anything I've missed? Let's see. 3. Construction. Yeah. Construction. Butcher shop. Yeah. Of course, we did a lot of farming and trading. And updating of maps, although they could probably still be updated some more. So, more or less, we're not done with phase 1 yet. Still not yet. But what we have more or less finished is the expansion and construction phase of stage 1, which basically means, as much as I care to, or at least think we need to, we obviously could do a little bit more. Like, there's probably some empty space in that hill, and certainly in that hill, and we could maybe hollow out some unused space in the mine hill, but we do have the mine hub in there, so that's not as much. And if we really wanted to, we could build underground. Plus, there's an area over here I didn't touch. That is this area with the little fishing / thinking hole. I just figured I wouldn't include that as like part of the village in and of itself. I figured I'd reserve that for just having a little place in the village to do some enjoyable stuff. I might turn the music down again a little. Let's see. Let's go to something like that. And at some point I was thinking the little bit of stone that's down there, building something there. I don't know what, but I don't have need of it at the moment, so for the time being, that'll just remain an empty area. But as for the rest of it, we've built and expanded basically where we want. The main building is done, as far as I'm concerned. Again, it's save for little additions. So, what now? Well, in our chugging along to get it done, a lot of these places are kind of bare or roughed up, like over there. Whoops. I tore out a bunch of trees to build all that in, and of course some of the trees I can't put back because of all the buildings, but I would like to put at least a little back in that area to make it look more jungly. So there's stuff like that, plus the decoration of plain spaces like these. And in preparation for completing phase 1 and moving on to phase 2, of course, the wall still has some stuff to catch up, so, like, the big deal, I'd say, is the walkways on top and the outside of the wall. There's quite a few sections that have to be brought down to ground level so that it looks like the wall actually goes into the ground instead of I stopped building it at a certain point and there's just dirt underneath it. Basically make it look nice and structurally sound. So that's all what we're going to be doing now, which means in addition to what we do with the wall, we're going to be going through all the village more or less all over again, but it's going to be, I hope, faster this time, because we're just cleaning up and decorating, more or less. Which does mean we could use some emeralds. And I probably don't need near as many of these tools. I can come back and grab them, of course, but probably don't need these on me right at the moment. Save some inventory space for the farms. I'm going to leave the scaffolding where I left it all that time ago. Now what I might do is see if I can get this sky to go away as well, because it just irks me a little bit. Excuse me. There we go, back to normal. At least as far as the sky is concerned. So. Yeah, we don't need to go to sleep. We'll just head straight to farming. So, another thing we'll probably do sometime in the middle of all this is work on restocking, especially on wood, because we've used so much, and we still probably need some for the decoration and touch-up phase, but we just need to restock, and that's gonna, of course, take time, like it always does, like everything does. Like this whole massive project has. At least we're listening to Sweden now. Oops, it's not ready yet. Oh, it looks pretty much ready. Something I've discovered while I've been working and trading in the background and not recording is actually this these farms, particularly where it involves composters, are actually more of a emerald mine than you realize, because what I realized is, you know, you farm all this and you don't need the seeds, so you compost them all and you turn it to bone meal, and you think, well, great, what am I going to do with this? I mean, it's nice to have some, but that's a lot of bone meal. Well, first of all, you can turn it into bone blocks, and if you want to use those, that's great, or at the very least it's another form of storing mass amounts of it. But the money-making aspect is, what I realized is, hey, I have so much bone meal. If you have a crop like, say, sugarcane, where you can just sit there and basically grow and harvest it with the bone meal, and then turn it all into paper and sell it, basically, every time you get a stack of bone meal out of time and time again having harvested crops and then composting what you didn't need, you've basically turned that waste into more emeralds. Granted, it's at a reduced rate and it takes a while, but you do enough of it over a long period of time. Like I said, you turn it into bone meal, you throw a bunch more sugar cane all at once and turn it into paper, you almost instantaneously can just give yourself a few more emeralds, so that's not half bad, actually. Now, if only you could do that with rotten potatoes. Apparently, it's by intentional design that these things cannot be composted. And I kind of wonder why that is. I'm not sure. Because I don't mean to sound like such a downer, but I've been brainstorming, and these things really don't seem to have a use. Unless you want to, like, really niche specific circumstances and situations, like you want to use them as a prank. You know, saying, oh, I'm giving your friend a load of diamonds, and it's actually a chest full of stacks of poisonous potatoes, which are more or less useless, and that's part of the joke. Or if you need to poison yourself to lower your health for some reason. And I think it's only an advancement in Java edition, but that's one of the ways you can give yourself poison easy. But like the wiki points out, you only need to do that with, you only need one potato to do that. It's kind of strange. Like, say for a prank or for a weird situation you need to poison yourself. What's the point of them? I'm not saying delete them from the game, I'm just saying give them some purpose. Even if it's like just for some really weird potion or something. I don't know what you'd do with them. I'm keeping them anyways. I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do with them, but I'm keeping the poisonous potatoes. Maybe one day I'll be thankful that I did, because they'll add some really interesting weirdo use for them. And I'll have a bunch of several stacks of poisonous potatoes stored up. I'll be able to do whatever they've added with. But until then, they're basically just a collector's item, I guess. Oh, that's cool. Now I need a hoe. Ah! It's the rule. It's the rule of Minecraft and life. Got it, you don't need it. You need it, you don't got it. At some point a while back, like a way while back, I was basically deciding I wasn't going to, any of the crops I gained from the smaller farm around the other storage facility, I decided I would just put those straight into storage for myself and no longer use them for trading. But now that the village has expanded and gotten so big, I think I may go back on that a little bit and use it for trading again, just because I know even now I'm going to need so many emeralds to buy materials for things. Oh, what do you know? It's raining again. Well, I guess we're done here. Wonder if I can fit the rest from the other storage facilities farm in here. It's funny how this tree almost blends in with the jungle so well, despite its being a completely different type. I'm having a bit of a brain fart. I did replant those potatoes, right? It's possible I got so busy talking. I'm just thinking, it's possible I got so busy talking that I completely spaced replanting something. But no, it looks like we did it fine. Okay, we're good. I really do need to go get that hole. Maybe I'll stop delaying and just go get it. I know there was an animal in here at one point. I don't know how it got in, but it was in there. Clouds. Oh, that's right, because it's raining. Dirt. side note, I also finally put buttons on the church, because build your pathfinding, man. They just come in here and can't find their way out. They're too focused on this corner. So I just said, well, I wanted to leave it open, but I guess you're not coming in. See, there's a guy down here. And there's cats, too. Because, well, of course, it's part of the village, I guess. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but... it has become a little bit more of a mess as it's gotten bigger, so... I suppose it is what it is. The seeds. I better hold the poisonous potato. Can pigs eat poisonous potatoes? That would at least be something. But I doubt it. So there was one of you gone. That's why. Another problem. We have a problem. Well, oh, that was a mistake. I seen a farmer back here. Here you are. What can I sell you? nighttime. I think I'm gonna go sleep this off. Or maybe I'll compost a little before I sleep it off. And before I do that, let's go plant this one sad potato that I stomped. Done. That's all it was. Yeah, part of that decorate phase and whatnot is also making sure the whole place is lit up. That's one of the things I forgot to mention. We're gonna have to throw light everywhere. And that is going to be quite the task. Because a lot of it is lit up, but a lot of it is also still pretty dark. And that will not do. I think that's all of that stuff. Sell away. I'm gonna have to talk to these guys soon. Even if we buy the terracotta and then regular and then throw it in a furnace, it's not as good as buying it glazed, but it's better than nothing. Still saves us some work. You, sir. Butcher. Potato. I'm afraid I've just sold out. What do I have left? I have basically melons. I think I may have to turn some of these into the block form, or else they won't accept it. That's assuming I have enough to make it worthwhile. Let's see. I'm not gonna do that. I can get a much better deal just selling them individually as slices. I just have to find the right guys to buy it. I'm curious. The gray one. Here we go. And how did you get in there? How? Have no idea. This is the problem I deal with. I don't know how this guy got in here. And I don't have a pickaxe either, so I'm gonna have to hope he lets me push him where I need to push him. Getting close. Slowly walking back. I'm so close. Well, he walked out on his own. I'm very grateful for that. That's more cooperative than some of the other villagers were. He let me push him, and then he just waltzed out when he seen it was open. I'll have to keep paying attention to that, and if I see that they still somehow keep finding a way in, I'm gonna have to figure out a way to keep them shut out. Figure out how they're getting in. Well, I don't see another farm around here. I've seen the guy over here, but I don't recall if... Couldn't tell if he was a farmer or someone else. Nah, he's a fisherman. There's a farmer. Let's try this sector at the savannah. Looks like I'm gonna have to wait. Or just make some of those other ones and get rid of them. I don't know which. Well, there's one more place I could check. Doubt someone will be there, but I can check. Looks like it's no farmer down here. Yes. Now I may have to sell them at a reduced price. Hey. Oh yeah, I need to see you anyways, I forgot. Okay. Cool. And I do need to harvest this. I could also harvest the seaweed for even more emeralds, but I don't think I'm going to worry about that right I don't get it. Thought I composted them, but maybe I didn't. Weird. Okay, got my paper. To sell you a book or paper. You want to buy the rest? Alright. And I don't know if we have any more paper. Do. Okay. This bag. And then the rest, I believe, goes to this storage facility. I'm in the wrong place. Absent-minded. Absent-minded-tea. Minded-tea? Absent-minded. Absent-minded-tea. Still sounds like I'm saying it wrong. Whatever. I forgot the spuds. I am very absent-minded. I'm trying to think of where to go from here. I'm also trying to think of if or how much of the process I want to record. Because some of it, like the decor stuff, might be a bit of a thoughtful process. I don't know. Maybe I will record it. I'm sort of indecisive. I might as well. It's been a while. Let's see. We're gonna put this stuff away, and I think what we want to do first is I think what we want to do first is buy some as much terracotta as we can. Process it if we need to. And then I don't know, we'll either start working on the wall or the decoration, because I think I want to save the light up stuff for last, so that if I make any modifications I don't have to drastically change everything by ripping the lighting out and then replacing it. Look at them spuds. Them old nasty spuds. And then good spuds. Alright, So, closest stonemason, I think there's one over here. And I'm just gonna jump it. Because why not? Granted, I don't know if they're full level or not, so we'll have to see. I want to focus... Well, it doesn't even look like there is one. And I don't even think there's necessarily one on the oak sector, so I think there may be one down here. And if not, I know we're close by to a couple others. Well, there was one. Oh, wow. That's a lot of people in the same place. These guys probably need help out of here at some point. I don't know how you even ended up there. Anyways. Should be one up here, potentially. Sure enough. He's a new guy, so we can't buy from him in that department yet. How about down here? Here we go. Another new guy, okay, that's a no-go. We may have to do a bit more training with them before we get the variety we want. Around here... Sheesh. There's not as many available as I suspected. Of course, there could be a couple wandering around that don't have a job at the moment because they haven't found a job site to work at the moment. Not you. Here's the guy who sells the green stuff all the time. Oh, okay, he's letting us buy more. That's great. But, of course, it ends there. Making up for lost time with that inventory, eh? There's another guy. We'll buy from you, too, for the future. We'll take it. We're gonna have to glaze this. So as you can see, that part of the wall is going to be expensive, but yeah, it always was. Slow and expensive process. I suppose we technically could make our own. It'd be a bit of an involved process. Part of me is wondering whether I should or shouldn't do that. That's surprisingly decorative. I didn't realize that's what brown looked like. Because what I've got set up over there with the lighthouse, this is just a temporary thing. I've got some dripstone, and you can use that to turn mud. You have to get dirt and you have to get it wet to turn it to mud. Then you put the mud up there and it slowly dries it out into clay. And then you've got a clay block that you can smelt into terracotta, dye, and then smelt into glazed terracotta. So it's a very long and involved process, and it's going to be expensive either way, no way about it. But it may be a little bit more time efficient if we scale it up with a big farm somewhere. So I'm really not sure yet what we're going to be doing, but that's an alternative to just slowly buying them with emeralds. I should probably bring a pickaxe. Get rid of this hoe. So up on the wall we go. So with that method, that means I could manufacture more of this terracotta, this black terracotta, and potentially a terracotta of any color, as long as I manage to get my hands on the dye. So that may be a more or less temporary farm we set up somewhere, or at least I'm considering it, to complete the wall with. Get that out of the way. Have to remember how this place is. What I'm thinking I might do is do 8 colors, so like from the corner to halfway across, from halfway across to the other corner, I do that all the way around, and that section of halfway across to a corner, that's one color, and all 8 sections of that have their separate color. We've already got 2 figured out. We've got the green and we got the black. If I really wanted to, I could actually take this green out and just make more black and stick with that. But I'm not sure if that's what I want to do or not. I really need to think about this. In the meantime, I might go over here to this corner and see what this brown terracotta will look like. Let's see, what do we got? So that's one potential pattern, I guess? Yeah, or That's a potential pattern. I don't know, I guess we'll go with that one. For the time being, I need to go back here and see how I split it up in the corner. Looks like brown would be the latch if we were going from that style still. Big L then. So going all black might not be such a smart idea because it's not particularly available to me. Brown would actually not have been a bad color, although I might not have liked the design as much. But the only way I could get black is through ink, I believe. I should look that up actually. See if I think you can find black dye like in chests and whatnot sometimes, but as far as crafting it, I don't know that you can. Yeah, the only flower you can get black dye from is a wither rose, and that's not a common find. look like I'm gonna get black dye other than trading or killing squids. So green and brown I should be able to get easy enough, even without trading. But black's going to be a little tricky. So I should check my stock on that stuff. Black. I know I don't have a whole lot of ink sacks. I got 12, and I think one of those makes 2. No, it just makes 1. Okay. So 1 ink, however, would make 8 black terracotta in the crafting bed, I believe. Let me look. So 12 times 8, that's 80 plus 16, so that's 96, which is like 64 and then 33, I think. So that's like a stack and a half. How far would that get me? A stack and a half. So that's 96 blocks. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30, 33, 39, 39, 42, 45, 48, 51, 54, 57, 60, 63, 66, 69, 72, 75, 78, 81, 84, 87, 90, 93, and 96. That would put me right here, which is not halfway yet, but it is a pretty good distance. It's close to halfway. And whereabouts would be halfway? Okay, so there is a double. That's good. That means I can just run them right into each other. But I would need more ink sacks, which either means wandering trader or killing squids. Of course, that's all assuming I actually make the farm that would be necessary to get enough terracotta to actually pull this off. And that farm's gonna gonna probably be a bit in the making as well. And it'll be tedious. But is it less tedious than, like, part of me is thinking, as much as I want to kind of do this the way I've been doing it, it's going to be held out unnecessarily long. I mean, I eventually decided, you know what, I need an enchanted pickaxe to build this wall, so I got one. It took a while, but then I finally got it, and now the wall's here. So it might just be a better idea to go ahead and try and make this farm. Not seeing a squid right now. I wonder if there's a wandering trader about. I seen one outside the walls a while ago. I doubt he's still there, but to still exist out in this wall. I doubt it, but I don't see him. So I guess no is the answer. It may just be a lot more practical to do this farm. I kind of wish I had my horse for this. Well, I think, as much as I want to do it the stonemason way, it is going to be so expensive, and more importantly take so much more time to do it, that I might as well just try this farm idea and see if I like it. So I think I will, but in order to do that, I'm going to need to set it up. I'm going to need a few things to do that. I think first I'll get rid of this, oh look, a wandering trader. And just where I was planning to be anyways. Well, unfortunately, it doesn't have what I'm looking for. What I was saying is I better get rid of this thing here. Replace that at some point, but I'm not going to worry about it now. So, let's see. I'm going to run inside. In order to make this work, there's a specific way it has to be set up. I just need to see the structure. Okay. So, I'll need a bunch of dirt. And I need a bottle. I might just take them all for now. And I'm gonna need most of the dripstone I have. That much. Then I'm going to need somewhere to build this. And I'm gonna put it underground. source thing first. Actually, do it like this. Use up some of the blocks that I have. I need one more bit of water. It here. Okay, so then what you're supposed to do, and this is why it's so complicated, so we're going to place the dirt there, and then you take a bottle of water, you fill up the water, and you turn it into mud. So that's mud now. Then what you do is you take your dripstone block, and that becomes the water source instead of regular water, and you stick this down, and it should, yeah, it's gonna drip. And what it should do is eventually drain that of its water and turn it into clay, and on top of that, this will probably grow, which I don't actually mind, because I can just harvest that for more dripstone. So it's a totally renewable process as far as dripstone and other blocks are concerned, like the clay. Make another one. Lap. So, oh, wow. Okay, one of them already happened, so there's proof of concept. Maybe these won't grow, but if they don't, wow, this is actually happening faster than I thought. If they don't grow, then I should set one up that does, so I might take one of these back. That. Now I got some more clay. We're gonna make one that will grow. In fact, we'll stick it up here so it can really grow. So I'll need my bucket. Somewhere. Okay. And then pop, and that should grow. Slowly. That way, in case these ones don't actually grow, we still have a renewable source of that, and we can expand this because it's already working. it's actually working a lot faster than I thought it would. I thought it would take some time. Good to be able to repurpose these mine caves. Basically turning dirt into clay. Who'd have thunked? That will take longer to grow, but that's fine. Give me a drip. Here we go. Good. Just to make sure it's still going. There's one already. So this is a good deal. It's actually working a lot faster than I thought. Okay. So that means I can actually I didn't even think about this. This is really great because not only can I use this for my own purposes for building, I could actually sell this to masons. So I can just sell them a bunch of clay that I'm manufacturing, which I've never really been able to do that a lot before because it's a limited resource. So that's actually really great. If I make this big enough, it'd be quite the show. So while that's doing its thing, let's fill this out. Viewsers, man, I just can't help. Viewsers. I just can't help. I was like, yes, I spelled caught right. Onwards, and the next word I misspell. Let's see. Am I missing anything? I don't think so. I think that's basically all we did. Well, I suppose this is as good a place as any to call it quits. I'll hopefully just record the next time I hop onto this, and I'll probably just expand this farm, and in the meantime, while I'm waiting to expand it, start working on decorating, or I might go on the outside of the wall and start filling in the problem places, but we'll see what happens when we get there. Anyways, thanks for watching. We're making some pretty darn good progress. And I will see you later.